All of this is former Ohio governor and presidential candidate John Kasich, also a former Congress member, of course, and thankfully an NBC News contributor now. So, Governor Kasich,
thanks,
your reaction, well, you know what it's like to run the State House. He's had a busy day there with an abortion ban on the floor going through and protesters. But what about reaching out to these congressional members and trying to nail down their loyalty?
Andrea, I think it's two things. One is I'm not sure how well he got along with his colleagues when he was in the House. Some people have said that he was pretty silent, didn't engage them very much. That stuff can come back to haunt you. I don't think it's deadly, but it's, it's sort of a problem. But the second reason is that he's got one foot in running for president and the other one not. And I mean, one of the issues is you got to jump in at some point. How do you go to somebody in Florida who's a member of Congress who lives in fear of Donald Trump? Then you say, I'm not going to be for you, Donald Trump. I'm going to be for DeSantis, but DeSantis isn't really yet running. So I think he's got to make up his mind as to when he's actually going to jump in. It's the same issue with Tim Scott from South Carolina. He's very well thought of, very well respected up there on Capitol Hill. And, exploratory, give credit to Nikki Haley. She actually jumped in with both feet. And when you're just sort of straddling, I think it creates an issue in the minds of these Florida folks. But isn't it interesting that these congressmen are endorsing Donald Trump already in 2024? It's pretty amazing to me.
It certainly has been a crazy
really
political
crazy.
While I have you here and while we're waiting for President Biden to begin to speak, let me ask you about abortion, because this Texas ruling, and now partially overturned but partially upheld, creating major hurdles for anyone who wants to get that abortion pill. You have to go to the doctor's office in the first 7 weeks. You have to take it in front of the physician, try getting a doctor's appointment quickly, and you're pregnant and you may have to travel. So this is all really, really tricky in terms of not ordering it by mail across state lines.
Yeah, I think, Andrea, what this gets down to is people are not for either extreme. They're for none, mostly, and they're not for the last trimester. So I think that there's a good possibility of trying to reach some kind of a reasonable compromise that would make most people in the country feel as though it's not perfect. But I think it's the way that, frankly, they need to resolve this issue, because it would resolve a lot of things. Now, of course, this case is going to go to the Supreme Court. It'll be interesting to see what they say. But I think that people are becoming very aware of the fact. To me, the first flash of this was Kansas, right? Who would think that Kansas would have rejected very tough abortion laws? So it's really telling you that people don't want to operate on the extremes. They want to operate somewhere in the middle, probably closer to the front than into the back. But and the party's got to figure that out the same way they've got to figure out guns, Andrea, right? I mean, I give credit to Governor Lee down in Tennessee, who's now coming out for red flag laws. The gun issue is another thing that just simply isn't working for Republicans. But forget Republicans, not working for the country right now.
No, it certainly isn't. The horrors of Louisville and Nashville before that, and then the political missteps by Republicans in Tennessee in that state legislature are incredible.
Yeah, throwing those guys out only to have them come back. But, Andrea, the other amazing story I'm told you broke here is where this leak of intelligence would have come from, if this is true, from a National Guardsman somewhere in Massachusetts. I mean, how does somebody like that even get access to this sensitive information? It really is going to force the intelligence community to dig down and scrub things deeply, because we've had too many leaks, and some of these leaks with Snowden or even before Snowden could be potentially devastating, as this is. I mean, how does it affect the Ukrainians when they hear that they don't have very good air defenses? I mean, this is a story that has got to be focused on, in my judgment.